Welcome back to another episode of Shabbat Shmooze. This week's Parsha is Parshat Mishpatim. And with this Parsha, we conclude the weeks of Shovavim. Parshat Mishpatim is filled with laws about justice and interpersonal relationships, but there is one commandment that stands out in its intensity. It is the commandment not to mistreat the Yatom or Almana, the orphan or the widow. Hashem says, Kol Almana v'Yatom lo ta'anun, im ane ta'ane oto, ki im tza'oki tzak elai, shamoa eshma tza'akato. You shall not mistreat any widow or orphan. If you mistreat them and they cry out to me, I will surely hear their cry. Now, the Torah does not say this about every mitzvah, but here Hashem is promising personal intervention if somebody hurts or mistreats a yatom or an almana. What is it about their status that warrants such a promise from Hashem? From here we understand that it is the tefillot of the broken and the raw that penetrates the gates of Shemayim that Hashem cannot disregard. I'm a little emotional because this has been a very draining week for Klal Yisrael. If you're watching this on Thursday, you probably witnessed what happened today in the hostage returns. We received 4 bodies of hostages instead of 4 living hostages. And it feels like every single one of us right now, we're broken. We are broken, and we, in a sense, are that abandoned, raw, fragile, hurt child of Hashem. This reminds me of a story about a woman, a widow, who went to Rav Chaim Shmulevitz of the Mir Yeshiva, the Rosh Yeshiva of the Mir Yeshiva, crying out to him, saying, I'm broken. I don't know what to do. Her husband died many years ago. She was forced to raise many, many children all on her own. She was struck with complete poverty, so many problems, and she didn't know what to do. And Rav Chaim told her, just call out to Hashem. You're a widow. It is your tefillot that will get heard the first and the loudest with Hashem. So go call out to Hashem. So she gathered her strength and she went to the kotel. She poured her eyes out by the wall. And she cried and she cried and she cried until she couldn't cry anymore. And as she was leaving the kotel plaza, someone went over to her and said, "Hi, I'm here visiting from afar, and I was told to just come and bring money to Israel and try to give it around as much as I can. So this is an envelope of money. Would you be able to go and distribute this for me to poverty-stricken widows?" And she said, "That's me. That's exactly me." So he said, "Okay, well then, Hashem sent me." And right now, I think for our spiritual homework, we're going to work on 2 different avenues. Number 1, you are going to daven a little extra hard, or you're going to be a little extra kind, or you're going to extend a little extra rachamim and chesed towards a widow or an orphan in your life. If your parents are alive and they've lost their parents, they can be the orphans that you extend extra rachamim to. A little extra kibbut avim, a little extra tzedakah, a phone call, checking in, a little extra compassion. Hashem tells us that if you treat my hurting child with compassion, I will treat you with compassion. So spiritual homework, guys. Number 1, find that widow or almana in your life and do just an extra step to them. Step number 2, we're going to scream out to Hashem, and we're going to cry out because we're all broken. At the end of the day, we are Hashem's children, and if we feel abandoned, that makes us an orphan. So we're going to call out to Hashem, and we're going to daven for everyone that is struggling. Anyone that's dealing with any type of pain, poverty, loss, grief, worries, health, whatever it is. This is the week to extend a little extra tefillot towards Hashem, because as Hashem promises, He will not turn away from the cries of a widow or an orphan. We feel abandoned, we feel like widows, we feel like orphans. Let's tap into that power and let's bring about that promise from Hashem. May we all be zocheh to witnessing Mashiach very, very swiftly, very quickly, and with so much rachamim with our own eyes this week, and wishing you all a wonderful, peaceful, calm, and rejuvenating Shabbat Shalom.